Family trips are a lot more enjoyable without the daughter-in-law, at least, that's how my mother-in-law sees it. From the window of our speeding car, she looked down at me with a smug smile. It all began on the first day of a family vacation with my husband's family. During a stop at a highway gas station on the way to a luxury hotel, I was abruptly left behind, stranded and lost. I stood there in shock, a moment I won't soon forget. My name is Susan. I'm 30 years old and primarily handle housework rather than working outside the home. My husband, Thomas, is a management consultant who's often away. Since he covers all of my mother-in-law's living expenses since my father-in-law passed away, we decided to move in with her. While she was delighted that her only son was returning home, she was clearly displeased that I, his wife, was coming too. I'm not glamorous and have little interest in designer brands. I spend a lot of time doing water-related chores, which leaves my hands rough despite my best efforts. I prefer comfortable clothes that are practical for moving around. To my mother-in-law, Linda, I must seem like an embarrassing daughter-in-law. Linda has always been obsessed with appearances and luxury brands. She's long since spent her inheritance and savings but continues to live extravagantly, constantly begging my husband for more. Thomas has firmly refused, stating, "I'm providing for your living expenses, not your luxuries." Still, Linda persists, causing trouble. My sister-in-law, Jessica, who lives nearby, shares her mother's attitude. She regularly makes snide comments, like, Thomas could do better than a plain woman like you." She visits our home daily, demanding meals, baths, and drinks, but never contributes financially or helps with chores. You're Thomas's wife, so it's only natural that you handle all the housework. You're not attractive, so at least keep the house clean. Thomas is too kind. Susan has always been poor and doesn't understand anything about brands. Despite my efforts to avoid conflict, my mother-in-law would tell my husband, "I handle all the housework myself," while my sister-in-law claimed, "We're good friends." I've been using my customer service experience to navigate these tricky family dynamics without causing major disruptions. My husband has noticed everything, from me managing all the housework to my sister-in-law's unpleasant attitude, though he hasn't confronted them directly. Respecting my wish to avoid a confrontation, he's aware of the issues. I told him, "You don't have to go out of your way for this. I'm okay with living separately if it comes to that. Thank you for understanding, but I want to make one last effort. I'm considering planning a family trip to improve our relationship. What do you think?" "That sounds like a good idea. I can take time off next month, so let's plan for this year's trip." Since we started dating, my husband and I have enjoyed regular trips together, even after moving in with my mother-in-law. We've managed occasional getaways just for the two of us, but once my mother-in-law and sister-in-law learned we were staying at luxurious hotels, they insisted on joining us. "You two are so inconsiderate, going on these extravagant trips without us. From now on, make sure we're included and it's just as lavish." Their insistence led me to book a luxurious hotel for the whole family, including my sister-in-law's husband. Mother-in-law and sister-in-law were thrilled, but just before the trip, my husband's work commitments made it impossible for him to join us. I considered postponing, but mother-in-law had already boasted about the trip to the neighbors, insisting we couldn't change our plans. Reluctantly, I agreed to go with just the four of us, excluding my husband. On the day of the trip, I packed mother-in-law and sister-in-law's luggage in the trunk, leaving no space for my own bag, which I carried inside the car. During the drive, their snide remarks from the back seat grew increasingly irritating. I glanced at the empty passenger seat where my husband's presence would have been, and felt uneasy without him. Even as we hit the highway, the complaints continued. "You're driving so slowly. Are you careless just because Thomas isn't here? Really? An accident happened today, and now you're making excuses. You must have misled Thomas." "I didn't mislead anyone. If only slow Susan weren't here, this trip would be more enjoyable." "Right, Mom." "Yes, that's right." As we neared another gas station, sister-in-law unexpectedly suggested, "Let's have my husband drive the rest of the way. You must be tired." Susan, after preparing mother-in-law's luggage and cleaning the house for our early departure, I was indeed exhausted and agreed. "Susan, could you grab drinks for everyone?" As I stepped out of the car to switch drivers, mother-in-law flashed me an unusually friendly smile. "Sure, that's fine." Their sudden kindness made me hope they might want to improve our relationship, just as I did. I felt a sense of relief and was about to walk away when, to my shock, the engine roared to life, and mother-in-law started tossing my luggage out of the car. With a grin, she shouted, "Family trips are more enjoyable without the daughter-in-law. You're just in the way." Stunned, I watched as the car drove off, leaving me and my travel bag behind. I was utterly lost and stood frozen, unable to shake the sting of her words. It was a harsh realization that no matter how much I did for mother-in-law and sister-in-law, it seemed to mean nothing. As I reached for my travel bag in the parking lot, my vision suddenly blurred. Overcome with emotion, I hurried to the restroom, covering my eyes with a hand towel as tears flowed uncontrollably. I lost track of time in the restroom until a call on my mobile phone snapped me back to reality. It was a message from my husband, who had finished work early and was concerned about the trip with my mother-in-law and the others. As I read his message, my phone rang with his call. "Thomas, I'm at a highway gas station, and I'm alone." "What happened?" His voice broke my composure, and I started crying again. He listened patiently as I explained, without rushing me. "I'm so sorry that Mom and the others treated you this way. I'll come pick you up right away. This shouldn't have happened." "Why are you apologizing, Susan?" "Because I tried to get along with your family and failed. I want to know how you really feel. Do you still want to make things work with Mom and the others?" "Right now, I just think it's too difficult." "I understand. I'm sorry for what my family has done. I'll handle the separation and everything else with them. But are you okay leaving your feelings as they are?" "My feelings? You've been holding back from me, haven't you?" Reflecting on it, I realized how much I had been suppressing my anger toward my unreasonable mother-in-law and insensitive sister-in-law. Yes, I can't stand being around them. I absolutely hate it. It felt surprisingly liberating to express the anger I had been bottling up. "You can do whatever you need to from now on, Susan. I'll take care of the rest." "I understand. No matter what happens, I won't let them affect us anymore." I made that resolution firmly. A few hours later, my husband arrived to pick me up at the gas station. Being with him naturally lifted my spirits, and I realized how peacefully and happily we could be together, even after everything that had happened. Despite feeling bad for how worried he had been, I couldn't help but smile a little. His thoughtful care allowed me to rest well. When we got home the next day, my husband surprised me with a proposal. "I've narrowed down the options for our new home to places near your parents' house." "What? Why the sudden change?" "I want to ensure we're not bothered by Mom and the others. Let's use the 3 days of the trip to finish moving. Will that be a problem for you?" Susan, my usually meticulous and organized husband, never does anything on impulse. Despite his underlying frustration, he wore a warm smile. "I'm all for moving. Let's get started right away." We quickly found a new home and a moving company, and the transition went smoothly. During this time, I received several emails from my mother-in-law and the others. "We're having a fantastic time without you. The hotel is luxurious and wonderful. Make sure you book something at this level next time. Dinner was the most extravagant and delicious ever. It's so much more enjoyable without having to see Susan's ugly face. Traveling with just the family is so much more relaxing. The jacuzzi is amazing." Their enjoyment of the high-end hotel was evident. "Enjoy it while you can," I thought. I eagerly anticipated what would come next. Around 10 a.m., on checkout day, I received a call from my mother-in-law. "Susan, what's going on?" "What do you mean?" "They're telling me the accommodation fee is $100,000. It's completely different from what you initially told us. It's only natural that the regular rate applies. Since I booked it through my connections and I'm not there, why would it be different? That hotel is run by my relatives." "What? That's why we got a special rate." "Well, I didn't know that. All the hotels we've stayed at on our trips were run by those relatives, so we got a discount. You never mentioned this before." Thomas asked me to keep it quiet because if Linda and the others knew, they'd expect it to be free. "What's this about, anyway?" "The accommodation fee is correct, so you'll need to cover it yourself." "Wait a minute, I can't pay $100,000. I didn't go on the trip, so I'm not responsible for your expenses." "Don't be unreasonable. We're family, right? You said the wife of your son is family, didn't you?" "That's you. We all enjoyed the trip together, so you should contribute as part of the family." Goodbye. I hung up on my mother-in-law, who continued to shout on the other end of the line, feeling a sense of relief. Ultimately, my mother-in-law and the others had to borrow money from dubious sources to cover the accommodation costs. When they returned home, they found they could no longer receive living expenses from us since we had moved. This led to conflicts with my sister-in-law's family, resulting in a breakup. Sister-in-law's relationship deteriorated, leading to her divorce. Without income and abandoned by her husband, sister-in-law struggled to find work in the nightlife industry due to her difficult personality. Mother-in-law, now in a desperate situation, even came to my husband's company seeking help. She appeared much older than her age, with hollow eyes, a haggard face, and disheveled clothes. Despite her tearful pleas to live with us, my husband stood firm on ending the relationship. In the years that followed, mother-in-law worked tirelessly in a demanding job. Meanwhile, we have been blessed with a lovely child and are living happily. We're now planning a visit to the luxury hotel we missed out on before, just the three of us. The hotel owner's relative has invited us, eager to meet our child, and we're looking forward to it immensely.